Pawn Stars boss Rick Harrison was ready to pay $125,000 for a wanted poster. It still wasn't enough. In the ever-fascinating world of rare collectibles and historical memorabilia, few names carry as much weight as Rick Harrison, the sharp-talking co-owner of the world-famous gold and silver pawn shop in Las Vegas. Known around the globe from the hit History Channel show Pawn Stars, Rick has built his reputation on identifying valuable artifacts, negotiating fiercely, and occasionally making jaw-dropping deals. But even for a man who's seen it all, one particular item stood out not just for its rarity, but for the price he was willing to pay. $125,000 for a single wanted poster. The story behind this historic document is as compelling as the negotiation that followed. The wanted poster in question was no ordinary piece of paper. It was an original 1865 handbill issued by the U.S. War Department, offering a reward for the capture of John Wilkes Booth, Abraham Lincoln's assassin. Printed shortly after Lincoln was shot at Ford's Theater on April 14, 1865, these posters were distributed across the country in a desperate attempt to track down Booth and his co-conspirators. Historically significant and visually striking, the posters featured detailed descriptions of Booth and others involved in the plot, along with rewards ranging from $50,000 to $100,000, a colossal sum in those days. For collectors and historians alike, owning such a piece is like holding a tangible fragment of American history. And for Rick Harrison, who has long had a passion for Civil War-era items, the opportunity to acquire one was too good to pass up. When the poster arrived at the pawn shop, brought in by a nervous but hopeful seller, Rick immediately recognized its potential value. He didn't hesitate to offer the seller $125,000 in amount, far exceeding the original reward money, but the seller had done his homework. After consulting with experts and auction houses, he believed the poster could fetch significantly more on the open market. This moment became a rare case where even Rick Harrison, known for his shrewdness and confidence in valuing historical items, found himself facing a difficult decision. Despite his deep knowledge and experience, he knew that when dealing with high-end collectibles, especially those tied to major historical events, the market can be unpredictable. Prices are influenced not only by condition and provenance, but also by current trends, collector demand, and the emotional weight of the item itself. To understand why the poster commanded such a high price, one must look at the legacy of both Abraham Lincoln and John Wilkes Booth, one revered as the savior of the Union, the other reviled as the man who snuffed out the life of a president during one of the most pivotal moments in American history. Abraham Lincoln's assassination was more than just a political act. It was a seismic event that reshaped the course of Reconstruction and left an indelible mark on the American psyche. The shockwaves of that night in April 1865 reverberated through generations, and anything associated with the event, whether a bullet, a blood-stained garment, or a printed notice, is treated with reverence. John Wilkes Booth, a well-known actor before his infamous crime, became synonymous with betrayal. His name lives on not for his talent, but for his treason. The wanted poster bearing his likeness and details became a symbol of justice pursued, a reminder that even the President of the United States was not immune to violence. Only a handful of these original posters remain today, many housed in museums or private collections. Their rarity makes them highly sought after by collectors, institutions, and investors alike. Auctions have seen similar documents sell for over $200,000, depending on quality and completeness. Rick Harrison has always prided himself on being able to recognize value quickly. In the fast-paced environment of the pawn shop, hesitation can mean missed opportunities. When presented with the Booth wanted poster, he immediately called in Corey, his father and business partner, for a second opinion. Corey, whose expertise often complements Rick's, agreed that the poster was authentic and in excellent condition. Together, they examined the edges, checked for signs of forgery, and verified the printing technique against known examples. The paper was aged appropriately, the ink slightly faded but legible, and the government seal intact. The description of Booth was accurate to historical records, including physical features like his dark eyes, mustache, and scar on his neck. Based on their combined knowledge and past experiences dealing with Civil War memorabilia, the Harrisons felt confident that the poster was genuine. Rick, believing that the seller might not get a better offer elsewhere and wanting to close the deal quickly, extended the $125,000 offer. While Rick was disappointed, he understood the seller's reasoning. In the world of high-value collectibles, emotions, timing, and market conditions play crucial roles. A quick sale might ensure liquidity, but waiting for the right buyer could result in a much larger payday. Harrison's willingness to pay $125,000 reflected not only the item's intrinsic value, but also the risks involved in acquiring such a rare piece. If there were any doubts about authenticity, even if slight, they could devalue the poster significantly. Plus, once sold, the item would leave the shop forever, meaning Rick couldn't hold on to it in hopes of appreciation. From a business perspective, Pawn Stars operates on a model where inventory turnover is essential. While some items are kept for years as investments or displays, most need to be flipped within a reasonable time frame to maintain cash flow. Rick's decision to offer such a large sum was also influenced by the growing demand for historically significant items among wealthy collectors and investors. In recent years, the market for autographs, documents, and memorabilia related to U.S. presidents and pivotal events has surged. Items once valued in the hundreds or thousands now command six-figure sums. The seller left the pawn shop with the wanted poster tucked safely in a protective sleeve, fully aware that he was walking away from what many would consider a dream offer. But for him, the risk was calculated. He had already received interest from two reputable auction houses, one based in New York and another in Dallas, both of which specialize in presidential history and wartime documents. He had also spoken to a few private collectors who expressed interest in acquiring the poster for personal museums or historical foundations. These buyers often pay premiums because they aren't concerned with resale, they're acquiring pieces for legacy purposes. A month later, the poster went up for auction. The final hammer price, $217,000. Including the buyer's premium, the total sale came to over $250,000, an impressive return on what might otherwise have been a quick $125,000 deal. News of the sale spread quickly, making headlines in the collectibles community and catching the attention of fellow dealers and historians. For Rick Harrison, the outcome was bittersweet. He respected the seller's hustle and strategy, acknowledging that sometimes you have to let things go. "That's the game," he later said in an interview. "I made a fair offer. He took a chance and it paid off." The story of the wanted poster serves as a powerful lesson in the dynamics of collecting, valuation, and negotiation. It highlights several key points. Knowledge is power, the seller's ability to research and understand the true market value of the poster gave him the confidence to turn down a generous offer. Without that information, he might have accepted the first bid. Timing is everything. Had the poster come to market during a slower period or under different economic conditions, the final sale price might have been lower. The timing of the auction, along with increased public interest in Civil War history, likely contributed to the high price. Authenticity reigns supreme. Even the rarest item can lose value if its provenance or authenticity is questioned. Proper documentation, expert verification, and condition assessment are critical in determining worth. Passion fuels value. Many high-priced collectibles derive their value not just from rarity, but from the emotional connection people feel toward them. The Lincoln assassination remains one of the most studied and emotionally charged events in American history. Respect the Market. Rick Harrison's respect for the seller's decision reflects a broader truth in the collectibles world. Everyone plays by different rules. Some prioritize speed and certainty, while others chase maximum profit. The fascination with historical documents like the Booth Wanted poster isn't limited to collectors alone. There's a broader cultural appetite for tangible connections to the past. Television shows like Pawn Stars, Antiques Roadshow, and History Detectives tap into this curiosity, allowing viewers to live vicariously through the thrill of discovery. Museums, universities, and libraries also compete for these types of items, ensuring that they remain preserved for future generations. However, with budgets tight and competition fierce, many institutions rely on donations or purchases from private collectors who eventually choose to part with their treasures. As society becomes increasingly digital, the allure of physical relics from the past grows stronger. Touching a document printed just days after Lincoln's death offers a sensory experience that no screen can replicate. It's a direct link to a moment in time, a way to feel closer to the people and events that shaped the world.